Hello students, welcome to the lecture series on cost accounting. Today we shall take up the lecture based on methods and types of cost accounting systems. We will discuss in detail different types of methods used in costing, and also we will learn about the installation of the costing system. Let us start up our discussion with the different methods of costing. There could be various methods such as job order costing, process costing, contract costing, unit costing, batch costing and service based costing, that is operating costing. The use and application of each system of costing is different. So, we will analyze when, where and how a particular process or the system of costing is being used. First of all, we will take up the job order costing. This method applies where work is undertaken to customer's special requirement. Cost unit in job order costing is taken to be a job or work order. Cost unit in job order costing is taken to be a job or work order for which costs are separately collected and computed. A job, small or big, comprises a specific quantity of product as per customer specification. So, here we can analyze that job order costing is a customer specific requirement costing, where something is being done on the instruction and specification of customer. Whether it could be a big job or small job, it will comprise some quantity of product, so that we can understand that this cost unit is being assigned for that particular job and cost is allocated in that cost unit for the job order costing. Examples of job order costing could be painting or interior decoration. If painting is being done, it is customer's special requirement to do the painting. The paints involved would be direct cost, then there could be labor cost and any other indirect costs which are being associated. So, it will be required for the particular job of doing the painting. So, it is called as job order costing. We will use the job order costing method to ascertain the cost associated with the particular job which is being done. So, this is the utility of job order costing. Second is single or output or unit costing. Unit costing is the prime important method of costing which we learn when we start ascertaining the cost. So, the base of understanding the costing is to understand unit costing first. So, let us analyze what is being given under unit costing. This method of cost calculation is used when production is uniform, consists of single or 2 or 3 varieties of the same product. The cost per unit is found by dividing the cost by number of units produced. So, under single or output or unit costing, what happens that calculation of the cost, that is ascertainment of the cost is being done, but its utility is limited because it is used when production is uniform. That means, if a product is being manufactured, either the same category of products are being manufactured or there could be 2 or 3 such products in that particular industry or manufacturing concern, and it is used to ascertain cost per unit. The cost per unit would be ascertained when firstly we will find out the total cost for that particular product or assignment. That means, we will add up the prime cost, then factory cost, administrative cost, selling and indirect cost. We will add up the total cost, then we will divide the cost with the number of units so manufactured. For example, the prime cost is 5,000, factory cost is 3,000, administrative cost is 1,000 and selling and distribution cost is 1,000. So, 5,000, 3,000 plus 1,000 and 1,000, that is 10,000, and units so produced are 1,000. So, unit cost per unit will be 10,000 divided by 1000, that is 10 rupees per unit. This is the basis of finding out or ascertaining the cost under the unit costing, but its utility is limited and it is being used where the production is uniform and products are of the same category or class. Example is bricks or steel is given over here. The third type of costing is contract costing. The difference between job and contract costing is that job is small and contract is big. The cost unit here is a contract which is of long duration and may continue over more than one financial year. Example, construction of building. So, contract costing is used where there is longevity of any job. Say for example, construction of building, construction of road. So, there will be work in progress. These contracts could move for more than that contracts could carry for more than one financial year. So, we need to ascertain the notional profits, then any escalation clauses being associated. So, as and when we move for the particular costing method, we will learn the terminologies being associated with those contract costing or other type of costing which we are using as per the requirement of the job or assignment. So, contract costing is used where a long term project is being taken up. So, we need to ascertain the cost which is being associated for a particular contract. There are different methods which are being used as percentage of completion method, process completion method, and then we could apply the different formulas to ascertain the actual profits or the cost which is being associated for a particular contract. Another one is batch costing. In this method, the cost of a batch or group of identical products is calculated and therefore, each batch of the product is a cost unit for which costs are calculated. So, under batch costing, batch is being assigned a cost. So, group of identical products would be considered as one batch and then each batch of the product is a cost unit for which we need to calculate the cost. Examples are ready-made garments, toys and shoes. The next one, and it is also one of the important methods of costing, it is called process costing. Costs are accumulated for each process. Here raw material has to pass through a number of processes in a particular sequence to completion stage. The finished product of one process is passed on to the next process as raw material. In order to arrive at cost per unit, the total cost of the process is divided by number of units produced. So, let us understand the mechanism that how process costing is being done and what the process costing comprises of. Under process costing, there could be number of processes which needs to be undertaken for the manufacturing of any final product. So, if a product is being manufactured, it will go under process 1, process 2 and process 3 to take up a final shape. So, under process 1 there will be certain material, labor and overheads which are being incurred, that will be added, and then how many units are being generated, so we will ascertain the cost per unit for that first process. Its final product will become the raw material for second process. Again certain activities being performed onto it, certain cost would be assigned, then cost per unit would be ascertained for that second process. Then it will come to the final stage where the final cost will be ascertained for that finished product. So, under process costing there are two important parameters. First one is that finished product of one process becomes raw material of another one, and cost per unit for each process is being ascertained. There are other important terminologies under process costing, which is normal loss and abnormal loss. These are being used for ascertaining the appropriate cost per unit. When we will learn in detail about process costing, we will take up practical examples to understand what is normal loss, what is abnormal loss and how it impacts the cost per unit. Under normal loss, there is escalation of the cost per units. We will learn this in detail in our upcoming lectures. Now, the examples which we need to understand where process costing is used. It is used under textile mills, soap making, sugar making industries, because they need to undergo the process of conversion of raw material into finished products with the multiple layer of activities. The next one is operating or service costing. It is used in undertaking which provides services instead of manufacturing the product. As the name suggests, it is service costing or operating costing. So, where there is no raw material or a physical product being manufactured, but there is rendering of service to the society or public at large, we use the operating or service costing. This method is used for providing social or public services. So, generally operating costing or service costing is used for ascertaining the transportation cost in transport industry, electricity, hotels and hospitals it is being used. So, here the composite unit concept is very relevant, where for example, hospital costing is being done. So, cost per bed per patient will be analyzed, hotel per customer per bed would be analyzed. Transportation, here also the composite cost for the kilometers per passenger would be analyzed. So, transportation costing itself is a very broad concept which includes many calculation aspects which we will need to learn. So, these are the important parameters or different types of costing methods. Coming to next important costing method is multiple or composite costing. It is an application of more than one methods of cost calculation with respect to same product. The method is used in industries where number of components are separately manufactured and then assembled into the final product. Example, manufacturing air conditioner, refrigerator, scooter and car. So, here the processes of assembly and manufacturing, so we can use the composite method of costing. Now, students, we will learn about the installation of costing system. The steps involved are: primary investigation should be made relating to the technical aspect of the business. The methods of purchase, storage issue should be examined and modified as per requirement. The method of honorarium or wages of labor should be examined and modified if requires as per new plans. Accounting records should be designed on minimum clerical labor and expenditure. The size and output of the factory should be studied. The system should be effective in cost control and cost reduction. System should be simple and easy to operate. The installation and operation of system should be economic. The system should be introduced gradually. So, these are the parameters we need to follow when we install any costing system. The feasibility and reasonableness of the system has to be examined, looking into the cost as well as the benefits which are being associated. So, minimization of the cost and maximum benefit and relevance of this system should be taken care of while installing any costing system. Now, having understood installation of costing systems, there is some important concept in relation to the spoilage and defectives which is being relevant for every method of costing. We need to understand it. Spoilage consists of goods that do not meet production standards. Such goods are either sold for their salvage value or discarded without further processing. The cost of normal spoilage will be borne by good units. The cost of abnormal spoilage is transferred to P&L account. Goods that do not meet production standards and must be processed further in order to be saleable as good units are known as defectives. The entire cost of abnormal defectives is charged to the costing P&L. So, here we can understand that what is the difference between spoilage and defective. Spoilage are those goods or units which are sold at the salvage value or discarded without further processing. By no means spoilage is being further processed. So, what happens that it enhances the cost of the good units. So, the loss which is being there because of the normal spoilage is borne by the good units. Say for example, there were the cost was 10,000 rupees and the units produced were 1000. Now, what happens that we know that 10,000 divided by 1000 is 10 rupees per unit will be the cost. Now, what happens if 10% is a spoilage loss of the normal spoilage? So, our units will reduce, but cost will remain as such. 10,000 divided by 1000 minus 100, that is 900. If we divide 10,000 by 900, rather than 10, 11 point something will be the cost per unit. So, cost per unit will be inflated because good units have borne that cost. So, normal spoilage will enhance the cost per unit because that loss is being taken care by the good units. However, if the cost is of abnormal spoilage, then the cost per unit will be multiplied by the abnormal units or spoilage and it will be transferred to the costing P&L without affecting the cost per unit. Now, what are defectives? Defectives are those products which do not meet the standard, but they are reworked. Some process is done on them and they are known as defectives, and the cost of such defectives is being transferred to the costing P&L. So, under entire costing system, the loss is being divided into two segments, normal and abnormal. Normal loss cost would be bared by the good units and cost per unit will be inflated. Abnormal loss will be transferred to the costing P&L. We have analyzed these two methods or these important concepts because it is being used overall in the costing systems. Now, students, we are summarizing our discussion of today. In today's lecture, we have learned about methods of costing, how they are different and where they are being applicable, and also we have learned about the criteria which are to be used for installation of the costing system. With this, we are ending up our discussion of today. Thank you.